These are devotions for people at a social distance. This morning, I was just thinking, I was just reflecting and thinking there's a lot of positive things going on. And it's always wonderful to see some positive things going on. So, we are seeing that numbers from the pandemic are on the decline in Ontario and, in fact, in many places. The word came out today that there seems to be definitive success in one country in the world, the leader in terms of vaccination, vaccination changing the whole dynamics of this pandemic thing. That's encouraging news, and hopefully we will all get there before too long, though of course it goes a little slower than we would all hope. There are some encouraging signs, and it's wonderful, and I think it's good to be on the lookout and celebrate anything that we find that is encouraging. But even as I recognize the encouraging signs, I also recognize a fear in me that we will take whatever encouragement we find and say, okay, let's just, not continue to do the right thing. Let's not continue to endure under these admittedly difficult, punishing kind of situations like in a lockdown. Because we're not there yet, of course. We are not yet in a place in Ontario where the number of people in hospitals and intensive care has gone down enough so that we can go back to allowing the kind of surgery and treatment that people need for their health. We are not there yet, but what's going to happen? Well, people are going to start saying, okay, let's just get back to life. Let's get open up everything. And the fear, of course, and I think it's a natural fear, is that this will just, and a legitimate fear that this will just raise cases, and our later condition will be worse than the former. That fear, I feel the hope and I feel the fear. And I guess if I have a word today, it would be the word from 2 Corinthians 4, 6-9 that I was reading this morning. Uh, in this passage, Paul says some remarkable things about what it means to be believers, what it means to be human beings who believe in God. He says, for it is the God who said, let light shine out of darkness, who has shone in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. Paul is saying here that God has let this light of the very presence of God shine through us. This incredible ability to reflect, to shine out the power and the glory of God into the world. Wow, eh? But there's a but. Verse 7 goes on, but we have this treasure in clay jars. So we, these vessels through whom all of this wonderful power and glory of God is going out into the world, we are these fragile vessels, fragile clay jars. And we all know that clay jars are easily broken and cracked. Now, he says that this has happened so that it's made clear that the extraordinary power belongs to God. It doesn't come from us. And he goes on to say, we are afflicted in every way, but not crushed. We are perplexed, but not driven to despair, persecuted, but not forsaken, struck down, but not destroyed. So what he's saying is we are these frail human beings. We are inclined to do things like give up too soon, right? And to go back to ordinary life before we're at the place, we are given to doing irresponsible things because that's part of what it means to be human. But the power to endure, the power to persevere, because we're not there yet, that comes from God. I know it's hard to persevere in these days. I know it's hard to hold on to doing the right thing where you may begin to feel the pressure from people around you to say, no, let's just give up on this thing and just go back to the way life, the way we want to live it. That power to persevere, my friends, it's in you and it comes from God. And yes, we all contain this frailty. We all struggle with these temptations, but the power comes from God and it is within you. Lord our God, these are difficult days. And even as we see signs of hope, we feel that temptation, that power pulling us towards what we really ought not to be doing. Give us the power to endure, even beyond the power we have within our own bodies. Amen.